Hi Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's Shanny with Healing Elements for your November 2019 reading, guys, out of the beautiful Fairy Tale Oracle deck by Lucy Cavendish, and all of the illustration is by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. You guys, after shuffling quite a bit, I have pulled, cards. I'm going backwards, so I've done Pisces through your sign now. So Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, etc. on down to you guys. And popping out for you randomly was number 34. So if number 34 means anything to you guys for November, you guys, Virgo, and I'm in the Virgo club, Virgo rising here, and Mercury also, and Pisces. So a little bit of a Gemini and Virgo influence there combined, as my whole chart, most of it is with water. So number 34, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for November 2019. The fairy tale is the juniper tree. Deception. This terrible and beautiful story begins with the woman standing beneath a juniper tree in her own garden, wishing with all her heart for a child as red as blood and as white as snow. She has a premonition of her own death and asks her husband to bury her beneath a juniper tree if this shall happen. She then grows and swells with child and gives birth to a beautiful son, red-cheeked and white-skinned. She holds him to her, feeds him with love, and then, after the third day of her life as a mother, she passes gently away from this world to the next. She is buried beneath the juniper tree, and her husband, who loved her very dearly, grieves hard, but cares for his child simultaneously. After his grief lifts, he takes a new wife, and she gives birth to a daughter called Marlinchen. In time, the new wife resents the boy, for he will inherit the father's house and money, and she wants this for herself and for her own child, Marlinchen. One day, her resentment festering inside of her, she offers her daughter an apple and sends her out to play. She becomes filled with evil and calls in her stepson, her mind twisted with anger, raging and righteous hatred for this boy who she sees as her downfall. She offers him an apple too, telling him it is inside a big box with a very heavy lid. He reaches into the box and she brings down the lid herself on his tender white neck, severing his head. She then takes a bandage and ties his head back onto his body. She calls Marlinchen in, telling her to ask her stepbrother for an apple, but he is already dead. And she tells Marlinchen if the stepbrother does not give her an apple, Marlinchen is to box his ears. Marlinchen asks sweetly for the apple from her already dead, unbeknownst to her, stepbrother, and having no response to her pleas, she strikes him, and his head falls to the floor, right off. She cries in anguish, believing she has killed her brother, and runs to her mother, who tells her she will make it all right. Marlinchen nods, weeping for the loss of her brother, and very frightened. Frightened she will be punished, and her soul condemned for eternity for this murder she believes she actually has committed herself. When the father returns home, the stepmother tells him the boy has gone away for a time to stay with his uncle. She then serves the husband a stew made of his own son's body, the boy. Marlinchen, weeping quietly, is also forced to eat the stew from her mother. Marlinchen, filled with remorse, steals her brother's bones from her mother in a display of grief and lays them to rest with her tears under the juniper tree. And a strange thing begins to happen. As she weeps, a bird emerges from the tree, singing a song of a boy dying at the hands of his stepmother, but wept for by his sister. The bird flies away, singing to now a goldsmith this same song, who gives the bird a golden chain. So moved is he by the sadness of this tale. The bird sings the song to a shoemaker, who offers the bird red shoes, and to a miller, who gives the bird a millstone. The bird then returns to the juniper tree and sings its song over and over. The father goes out to see what is singing such a beautiful song, and the golden chain falls off about the bird's neck. The father tells everyone that a beautiful bird just gave him a chain. It sings again, and Marlinchen goes out to see if this is true, and then the red shoes fall down. She smiles, Marlinchen smiles, for the first time since the death of her brother. And the stepmother inside watching is burning up with the fever of anger, fear, and guilt, and wishes to hush the bird from singing the song of truth. She rushes outside, seeking out the bird, and upon her head falls the millstone, crushing her bones into the earth, ending her evil life of bitterness and anger. The father and Merlin should cry out as the dust rises from the earth with the falling of the stone, and when it clears, to their surprise, there is no longer any bird, but a boy, their boy, with a look of joy upon his face. They all embrace, they share the story together, and they go inside for their evening meal as the bones and the body of the evil one find their only rest beneath the branches of the juniper tree. Virgo, sun, moon, and rising, guys, when this card comes to you, you will see soon that you have been carrying a great burden, when the responsibility for much of the sadness and implications lies with another. You must let go of the sense that everything is your fault and begin to understand that you do have a good heart, even if you have to say no. Don't lose hope. Keep doing what you know to be the right and compassionate thing to do, and soon a lost loved one will be returned to you, metaphorically or tangibly. The parting and the sadness you have experienced lately is due to a third party's involvement, whether this is in spirit or on earth. Do the right thing, and the love you feel you have lost will return to you. Okay, Virgos, additional meanings when you do get this card can be: greed must be immediately dissolved. Do not act out of anger or resentment. Do not be impulsive at this time. Compassion rewarded. False blamehood. Cunning to shift blame. Magic revealing the truth. A return to life after some period of cruelty. Love and tenderness save us all. The magical power of trees and nature. It's beautiful for Virgos. The innocence of children reclaimed. And the resurrection and a second chance at life. This story is collected by the Brothers Grimm, guys. Blessings, love and lights, Virgo. I wish you nothing but a happy November, guys.